And just before Zachary, first of all, we're so grateful that Zachary spent today preparing the shir. But I want to say one thing. Big shkoyach to everybody. Big shkoyach for here. And a couple of things. Just scheduling notes before Zachary starts with his Torah. One is this coming Sunday morning, not today, tomorrow, not this week, Sunday, a week from Sunday, we're going to drive through the night. We're going to leave here from DC at 1:30 in the morning to get to New Jersey, Englewood, to daven Nate's. And Nate's is a 6 a.m. minyan because it's Rosh Chodesh Elul, and it's a very big inyan to daven Nate's. My friend there, he's a wonderful, like Edwin, he's a Persian Jew, and he's a big tzaddik, and he davens Nate's every day. And I think this is Rosh Chodesh Elul, is our first opportunity of the Yomim Noraim. So I'm going to drive, and anybody want to come with me? Just we're driving through the night, so it's no problem. And then he said we could stay in his house and learn the Daf Yomi. So if you want to come to that, and why wouldn't you want to come? Just let me know. Also, we have scheduled for during Slichos, we're going to have Mishmar leading into the first night of Slichos, and also that Thursday night, and also on Erev Rosh Hashanah, that Shabbos. We're going to set up really big Mishmars for the Slichos. So now this is Zachary's turn, and a big shkoyach to everybody. Can you hold on? Let me see Zachary. Yeah. All right. Let us see what Zachary has to say. Shkoyach, Zachary.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. So we're continuing on with the Gemara in Taanis. We're on Bava Mid Aleph, and if people have been following with what's been going on, we've been talking about these ideas of Yored and Malkosh, right? These two different types of rains. We know we have the pasuk in Shema that talks about it, and as we were speaking about it, just a daf or so ago, we were speaking about what's the main difference between these two rains. And we decided that Yored is going to be this first rain and Malkosh is going to be the second rain. Whatever that means, we'll see. And you're going to see throughout this Gemara, it's going to try and understand what the two different words mean and how from the actual words, we're going to understand what the words mean. You'll see what I mean in a second. So the Gemara begins on Bava Mid Aleph, a couple lines down, Tana Rabbanan, Yored, right, which is this first rain, Shemore Esabrios, right, because it instructs the people, right? We're using from the word Yored, we're going to try and use a different word from a Shoresh, and then we're going to understand what it means. So that's the first understanding of what this Yored rain could be. It's instructing the people, whatever that means. Latiach Gagosehen, to plaster their roofs, right, to prevent the rain from coming into their houses, and to bring in the fruit that was left inside. So that's the first positive way that we can see what does this word Yored means. We continue, Lasos kol tzrichasehen, right, to attend to all their things. This is the first sign that they would need to do something. Davar acher, the Gemara continues, right? We have another explanation of what this Yored could mean. Shemarve esa aretz, it's called Yored because it saturates the earth. Umakeh ad tehom, and it waters it to the depths. Shneamar, as the pasuk says, Talmabe rava nachas geduda berbichim timgonea tzmicha tevarech. Right? By saturating, I'll read it in English. By saturating its furrows, you bring pleasure to its bands. With showers, you soften it. It grows, you bless. Right? And it's using the same thing, marve, saturate. So we had from the word Yored, we had more, which means to instruct. Then we had marve, which means to saturate. Those are the two first options of what Yored means. And then the third option, the Gemara continues. It says, Davar acher, Yored she Yored benacha, that falls gently, ve'eno Yored bezav, and it doesn't fall violently. So these are the three ways that from our word Yored, we can begin to understand what does the actual word mean. And it uses its shoresh and it switches it and adds prefixes and suffixes. More, instruct, marve, saturate, and Yored benachat, falling gently, to understand that these are three potential ways that this is how we can understand Yored. So now we continue, right? How do we know that Yored is really a good thing? We're assuming that Yoreh is something good, but maybe it could be something bad. So the Gemara says, "Oh, Eino Yoreh ela shemashir esaperos," but maybe it could be that causes the fruit to fall. The mashtif esazraim, and it washes away the seeds. The mashtif esailanos, and it washes away the trees. Right, and this could be a bad thing. That Yoreh really is something not good. So the Gemara rejects this and says, Talmud Lomar Malkosh. The reason we know that Yoreh is good is because we have this word of Malkosh right after. Ma Malkosh lebracha, af Yoreh lebracha. That we use a connection to say that because we have the word Malkosh right after Yoreh, they must mean something good, right? Yoreh, Malkosh means something good, Yoreh must mean something good. And we'll continue and see what that is later. So now, we're saying that Malkush is a good thing according to the Gemara because it has this connection between Yoreh and Malkush, these two words. So the Gemara is going to challenge that and ask, how do we know that Malkush is really something good? Maybe it could be something bad. So the Gemara says, "Oh, inu Malkush ella shemapilas abate," but perhaps it's called Malkush because it knocks down the houses. Umashaber esayulanos, and it breaks the trees. Umala esasakian, and it raises the locusts. Right, this type of rain would come down really hard, and from the ground, these locusts would come up. And the same thing, we know it's using the same type of language of malkosh, mal meaning cut, and kasha meaning hard, to try and understand that this malkosh could be some type of bad rain. And again, the Gemara says, no, it's not like that. Talmud Lomar, Yoreh. Because we have the word Yoreh and the word malkosh connected, it can't mean something bad. Ma Yoreh levracha, af malkosh levracha. Just like Yoreh is something good, Malkush is something good. The Yoreh gufa minolan. So from where do we know that Yoreh is something good now? And the Gemara is going to answer us. Tichtiv, as the pasuk says, "Uvnei Tzion gilu v'simchu b'Hashem lokechem, ki nasan lachem es hamoreh l'tzedakah, v'yoreh lachem geshem moreh v'malkush barishon." I'll read in English. The children of Zion be glad and rejoice in Hashem your God, for He has given you Yoreh as charity, and He has brought down rain for you, Yoreh and Malkush, in the first month. So from that pasuk, we can see that Yoreh means something good. That means Malkush must also mean something good. And that's where we stand now. We've tried to understand how Yoreh and Malkush mean different things by just using their words and seeing what words can connect between them. So now the Gemara continues and discusses the times when the rain will fall. So it says, Tana Rabban, the rabbis Tana Brisa. Yoreh b'Marcheshvan, the rain falls in Marcheshvan, the Malkush b'Nisan, and the Malkush falls in Nisan. So the Gemara challenges, Ata Omer Yoreh b'Marcheshvan v'Melokesh b'Nisan. You say that the Yoreh will fall in Marcheshvan and the Malkush will fall in Nisan. Oh, Eno, but maybe it's not like this. Ela Yoreh b'Tishrei v'Malkush b'Iyar. Rather, the Yoreh is going to fall in Tishrei and the Malkush is going to fall in Iyar. And if you look at Rashi explains that the reason that the Malkush would be going and falling in Iyar was because that's when the fields will still ripe with the food, right, and the grain. And so when the grain is ripe, when the fields are ready for planting, that should be the last time that the rain comes down. So you might think that's why the last rain falls in Iyar. But the Gemara says, no, Talmud Lomar, Be'ito, in its time. And we end up saying that in its time means that we go back to our original thing, which is Yoreh is in Marcheshvan and Malkush is in Nisan. So now we're going to look at, we've now established what and when time Yoreh and Malkush come. Now we're going to look at the root of what Malkush means. Malkush, and there's obviously a question mark, what's the root of the meaning Malkush? Amar Rav Nilei bar Idi Amar Shmuel. Rav Nilei bar Idi said the name Shmuel. Davar Shemal Kushiyatan Shal Yisrael. Something that excises, says in English, the hardness of Israel. But again, it's using the words mal and kash, right? Excises the hardness to understand that this could be a bad thing. I mean, that this could be a good thing. Today, Rabbi Yishmael Tana taught in the Academy of Rabbi Yishmael. Deba Shemala Tuva Bekasha, something that fills the stalks with grain. Malet, it filled the stalks, kash, with grain, again. And it's using the language of Malkush to try and understand what this means. And the last opinion, the Masnisa taught, it taught in the Brisa, Davar Sheyored al Hamalilos, the al Hakashim. Something that descends on the ears, the lilo means the ears, And again, kash means the grain. So from these three different types of understandings, mal, kash, malay, kash, and malila and kash, we're trying to understand the three different types of ways we can understand that makosh means something good. So the Gemara now, it's done that. It's done the understanding of Yoreh. It's done the understanding of makosh. And now it goes through three different times when the rainfall could be in each of Chazal's opinions. So Taanis Rabban, the rabbis taught, Yoreh b'Mar Cheshvan v'makosh b'Nisan. The Torah teaches that Yoreh will fall on Mar Cheshvan and makosh b'Nisan. Ata Omer Yoreh b'Mar Cheshvan. You say that the Yoreh will fall on Mar Cheshvan. Oh, Eino, or maybe not. Ela b'Chodesh Kislev, but maybe it'll go on Kislev instead of Mar Cheshvan. Talmud Lomar. That's why the Gemara comes to say V'ito Yoreh u'Makosh. Right? We know from the pasuk it says in its proper time Yoreh u'Makosh. Ma Makosh b'Ito. What? Just as Makosh will fall in its proper time, which is Nisan. Af Yoreh b'Ito. So too Yoreh will fall in its proper time, which is Mar Cheshvan. And that's what we say, and that's why we have Yoreh and Makosh in our preferred times. The Gemara continues and says, Tanya Idach, I was taught another brayso, Yoreh b'Mar Cheshvan v'Malokesh b'Nisan. We taught Yoreh will fall on Mar Cheshvan and Makosh b'Nisan. Divrei Rabbi Meir. These were the words of Rabbi Meir. The Chachamim Omrim Yoreh b'Kislev. That Yoreh will really fall on Kislev. And so we ask, who is this? Right? We've had up until now all these different opinions, but we've always said Yoreh and Makosh we know are in Mar Cheshvan and Nisan. And now all of a sudden we're saying it's going to fall on Kislev. So who's the opinion that says this? Man Chacham. And the Gemara asks where the stages. Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda says Rabbi Yossi. This is Rabbi Yossi. Titania, we learned a brayso. Ezuhu Revi'ah Rishona. What is the time of the first rainfall of the season? Habikira b'Shlosha b'Mar Cheshvan. The first rainfall is on the third Mar Cheshvan. B'Nonis b'Shvi Bo. And when is the intermediate rainfall? It's going to be on the 7th of Mar Cheshvan. Afilu b'Shvi Asar Bo. And the last one is going to be on the 17th of Mar Cheshvan. So before we begin to go into the other opinions, they're going to ask, we have three different rainfalls in a rainfall. I know it's hard to understand, but three different times in one rainfall, the beginning, the middle, and the end. So we're going to have three different opinions of when these three different rainfalls are going to be. So we had the first opinion, which we said on the 3rd of Mar Cheshvan, the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, and the 17th of Mar Cheshvan. We're going to be when the three rainfalls were. And that was the opinion of Rav Chisda. The next opinion, Rabbi Meir, this word's Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says, B'Shviya b'Yetzayin u've'esrim u'v'Shlosha. The rainfalls are going to be on the 17th, the 7th, 17th, and the 23rd. That's the second opinion of when the three rainfalls are going to be. And then Rabbi Yossi comes, and Rabbi Yossi says, B'Yetzayin u've'esrim u'v'Shlosha v'Rosh Chodesh Kislev. On the 7th, on the 17th, the 23rd, and then we have on Rosh Chodesh Kislev, which was our question why it said Kislev. That's going to be the third time for the last rain. And why did Rabbi Yossi say this opinion of Kislev when we've been saying the entire time that it was going to be in Mar Cheshvan and Nisan? And he says, right? When the rain falls, when no rain falls, the devout individuals do not begin fasting until Rosh Chodesh Kislev comes. And the reason for that is if no rain falls by this date, then people are going to come out and fast because they want the rain to fall. Now the Gemara has a decision. Who are we going to hold like? We have three different opinions. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yossi, and Rabbi Yehuda. Who are we going to go by? So Rav Chisda, he's the one that decides. I'm Rav Chisda. Halacha Rabbi Yossi. The halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, who says the 17th, the 23rd, and the 1st of Kislev are the three times for the rain. And he continues. Now we have a different brayso though. A Meimar Masni La de Rav Chisda b'Hai Lishna. A Meimar ta Rav Chisda statement in the following version. B'Shlosha b'Mar Cheshvan Sholin and Shamim. On the 3rd of Mar Cheshvan we request for rain, right? So if we request for rain on the 3rd of Mar Cheshvan, Rabbi Gamliel has a different idea. He says B'Shviya Bo. We begin on the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, and instead of the 17th, according to Rabbi Yossi. Amar Rav Chisda, and Rav Chisda says, halacha Rabbi Gamliel. The halacha in that case, when we would ask for rain on the 3rd of Mar Cheshvan, the halacha would be like Rabbi Gamliel, where the first rain would be on the 7th. the Gemara finally ends and says, "Come on, Azla Tanya, whose opinion is reflected in the following brisa?" And it gives a totally new opinion. It says, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, "Geshamim sheyardu shviya yamim zeh achar zeh." If rainfall lasted for 7 days, atamone behen rabia rishonu shniyah shlishis. You may consider it combining the first and second rainfalls and the second and third rainfalls. So, come on, who is this opinion like? Out of the 3 opinions, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Yehuda, the Gemara answers to Rabbi Yossi. It can only be like Rabbi Yossi's opinion, because Rabbi Yossi's opinion is one that was in between 7 days. He had 17, 23rd, and the first, and those are all in between 7 days, and that's the reason why it could be Rabbi Yossi's opinion. That's the end of what the Gemara is. I'm sorry if it was a lot. It was amazing. I heard from my rebbeim. I've been in Israel the past few years, and one of them said that for every shiur, you have to come away with some practical application so that people can take it with you. So I think if we're thinking about this idea of Yoreh and Malkosh, we think about when do we say this pasuk? We say this pasuk in Shema every day. What? Shabbos. Yes, but in Shema we say it every single day. And we think about our tefillah. Our tefillah, hopefully we're davening 3 times a day with the minyan. And in our tefillah, sometimes we get caught up with thinking about different things. There's a story I heard where you're walking into the shuk on Friday, and you're walking in, some guy, all these vendors, they want you to come buy their stuff. So one guy's like, come try my tea for free. Come on. So you go in, okay? You get some tea and you're drinking and you start to leave, right? And all of a sudden he smacks you. You're so confused. Why you just smack me? And you're leaving, you're walking away, you're turning, you gotta go for shopping. He smacks you again. And you realize you're in the middle of Slachan. Right? You're totally not thinking about what's happening. Right? The davening just passed and all of a sudden you have no idea what's going on. Sometimes that's our davening, sometimes that's our days. We go by every day and we just think we have no idea what's going on. So I challenge all of you to think about this pasuk next time you're davening. Tomorrow morning, you're in Shema and you get to this pasuk. And more than that, you can think about what this idea means. That we had multiple different ways to understand what Yoreh and Malkosh meant, for good and for bad. And we think about our own lives, what we could have for good and what we could have for bad. We look at situations and we say, okay, this happened to me. I was late for work. I did this, whatever it is. And sometimes we say, oh, that was really good. And sometimes we say, oh, that was really bad. But if we think to ourselves for a second, at the end of the day, everything is good because Hashem is controlling our world. And if we put our trust in Him, then, okay, something that might be bad really is good. We just don't see it yet. And if we can have that thought during davening, and for a second every day think, okay, whatever is going to happen to me is going to be good, then hopefully for the rest of our lives, we can have a straight path and continue to live our good lives. Amen.
Just right. What happened here?
Great job.
Hold on one second.